We've made it to the end of 2021. I'm a little bit blown away by that, but here we are for my last TBR of 2021. And I need some, I don't know if it's comfort reading, but I need some like light, kind of fluffy reading for this month. I think December is always for me this kind of relaxing type of reading where I just want to not think too heavily, especially this year because I feel quite burnt out after a very busy 3 months. And I just need to kind of ease into some easier reading, and that is what my TBR reflects this year. I will start by talking about my audio. So one of my goals for December is to try to hit my reading goal, which was 75 books. I think at 66 right now. So that's another reason why I'm reading lighter, because I know I can, pull off some easier reads and some quick ones and tick off those boxes. But they're also books that I do want to read. I'm not just throwing them in there for no good reason. The audiobooks that I'm going to be reading in December are A Christmas Hope by Anne Perry. This is a short little Christmas mystery, and it's set in the Victorian times in England. And so it's kind of this Christmas party, and then something happens at the Christmas party, and the heroine follows up on what is going on and tries to figure out the mystery behind it. So that is going to be a nice, fun little read. I like to read festive books as well in December. Not all of my reading. I don't want it all to be Christmas based or holiday based, but I do like to read a few just to, get you in that mood, that Christmassy mood. And then the other audiobook I'm going to be reading is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. And the reason I wanted to read this one now, or to listen to it, is because I believe there's going to be a television show or a movie, I can't remember which one, coming out about this book. And I know that her second book is already out, and I've had this on my TBR for a really long time. And it just seemed like a good book to get to now. I know that I believe it follows a group of musicians or actors after or during some sort of a epidemic type scenario. So I don't know how I feel about consuming media about epidemics and things at this time while we are still in a pandemic, but I thought I would give it a try and just go for it, because why not? So that will be my second audiobook of December. And then I am reading Moonlight over Paris by Jennifer Robson. This is the third in a trilogy of books. They're not about the same people, but they're about the same time period. So this book takes place for the the so-called lost generation, the young people who come of age and are kind of in their late 20s, in their 30s after World War I. And this is obviously set in Paris. It follows Helena, who is a kind of lower British aristocrat daughter who is kind of lost and wants to be an artist, and goes to Paris and takes an art class and lives with her rich aunt and makes some friends, and obviously falls in love. I really like Jennifer Robson's versions of romance. I think what she's able to do in her books is create very well-rounded female characters who just happen to fall in love. So it's not a situation where the women only want to fall in love and they're obsessed with men or anything like that. It's just a situation where they are trying to be their best selves and they're trying to like be in their culture and not be victims of it, but they're also, you know, life happens to them. And so I really think Jennifer Robson does a good job of writing. I read the first two in this series when I was in France in 2016. So it's been a really long time, and I've subsequently been given another one of her novels. And so I just wanted to finish the series before I go on and read other ones of hers. But I do think she's a great writer. She's actually a Canadian writer. And her father was quite a well-known historian. And so her historical fiction kind of is bred from, I think, having a historian as a father and being around it for her life. So anyway, I do recommend her if you're looking for something lighter but quite intelligent and but an easy read. I think her writing is really good. Okay, so I'm also going to be reading the last in my 1970s project for 2021. Going right to the wire here to get this done. Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. This book is considered to be a really important piece of lesbian literature. So this follows a young woman coming of age story and her realizing that she's a lesbian, and I believe that was Rita Mae Brown's experience as well, although I think perhaps Rita Mae Brown is bisexual, I'm not sure. And so that is what this is. And I was trying to remember if I've read many coming of age stories this year. I think I've only done a couple, so I haven't you know, overdone it, as I can do sometimes on that trope. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to wrapping up my 1970s project for this year. I wanted to throw in some poetry because I just enjoy reading poetry. And I haven't read that many poetry collections this year, so I wanted to bring another one in. So this one is called Bright Wings, an illustrated anthology of poems about birds. It's edited by Billy Collins, and the paintings in it are by David Allen Sibley. And so how they've done this is they've kind of put in the plates of the paintings of the birds with a little bit of information about the birds, and then they've collected poems about those birds. So in some cases there's only one poem about the bird, and then in other cases there's multiple poems about that same type of bird. And in the introduction, it was quite interesting, they talked about how when collecting the poems, they really wanted to represent lesser known poets, so not the typical bird poems that may be quite famous in the poetry world. They wanted to instead, you know, promote other poets. And there's a lot of poets in here. It's almost a 300-page book, I think. Yeah, it's almost a 300-page book. So there's a lot of different poets in here. And I think the art is nice. I don't think there's anything particularly inspiring necessarily about the bird paintings themselves. They're just, you know, competent, nice little paintings. But it's still a nice little book. Yeah. Okay, so my other Christmas read is going to be Christmas at Little Beach Street Bakery by Jenny Colgan. Now, when I was looking for this at the library, Jenny Colgan is very prolific. I believe she's a British writer. And she had a lot of different books and series, and so I think she writes this kind of, I don't even know, romance. I believe this is probably a romance as well. Fiction, light fiction. And so this is actually the third book in the series, Little Beach Street Bakery series. But I find for books like this, it's really not a big deal if you don't read them in order, because they do a really good job of just sharing, you know, whatever catching you up on what happened before if it's necessary to know for these books. And often they're written as standalones anyway, because they're really about, you know, like a festive holiday reads for people. So the plot in this one is that the owner of the Little Beach Street Bakery is looking forward to a fun Christmas with her boyfriend, and then her best friend comes to town and kind of throws some wrenches in her plans. So little British village bakery drama. So it sounds very fun. And then I also picked up Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This is their middle grade novel, and I am going to probably be finishing the novel I'm reading with my son Elliot. I would say probably mid-December, so I thought I would pick this one up from the library so that we could jump right into it. Pet is set in a city that doesn't have monsters, but apparently Pet kind of discovers that there are monsters. I believe their name is Pet, yeah. So yeah, really excited to read this. And there is another book set in this world coming out in the new year, and it's called Bitter. And so it sounds like it's a bit more YA. It sounds like the protagonist is older. So I don't know if I'll read that with my son or I'll just read it myself. But I have said before, I'm going to read everything Akwaeke Emezi writes. I love their writing style. And so, yeah, going on for my third Akwaeke Emezi in 2021. So those are my books for the end of 2021, and I am looking forward to seeing some family that I haven't seen in several years, and just kind of winding down from a very busy year and trying to rejuvenate for whatever is coming for 2022. I will be back with some more videos. I will not be doing Vlogmas, but I will try to produce some more videos. I have a lot of content that needs to be edited and put onto here for you. I also wanted to mention that Robert from the BookTube Prize channel is still looking for more judges for BookTube Prize judging for 2022. I believe you have until the end of December to sign up. I would really encourage you to consider it. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel, you don't have to, you just have to be a reader and want to read. The reason that he needs more judges is because he has 3 categories this year: fiction, nonfiction, and translated fiction. And so he needs a huge pool, especially for the beginning, especially for the first round. So even if you don't think you want to do an entire year of book prize judging, if you considered doing just the first round to help us all narrow those books down and get them through the rest of the year, I find it really fun and an interesting way to kind of explore some books that you might not pick up on your own. And I have found in the last 2 years of participating that I have, been surprised, like nicely surprised by the fact that some of these books that I kind of judged at the beginning by the blurb or the cover are books that I've actually enjoyed and I wouldn't have read without the prompt of judging them. So please consider it. I will put links down below to the video announcement for judges, and that leads you to the Google form that you can fill out if you would like to join in. So I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Happy reading in December, and I'll see you soon.